And it's all they can't get it right, but in the end they get that shit right. You know what I'm saying?
There's several podcasts. Like there's one podcast that I love. It's called Not Another D&D Podcast.
Nice.
And it's a bunch of people that were off of what's that College Humor.
Yeah.
So there's a couple people. There's a dude, him and his wife, and then there's another guy that's with him. There's like two other dudes, and they usually have special guests and stuff.
Right.
And bro, their campaigns, like you can just listen because they basically play through a campaign.
Okay.
And then it's basically like reading a book without reading the book because it's like watching a movie.
Yeah.
Because they're acting out and doing everything, and they're saying all the stuff, but it's in an actual D&D setting, so you can hear them when they're like, "Oh, so do you roll for? Do you do this? Do you do that?" Like they're making the decisions like an actual D&D game, so you can kind of gauge like how the game is being played.
Okay.
Off of that, but yeah, it's kind of cool, and like this is one of my favorite podcasts.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Like I said, they do that, but then there's this dude, Lou Wilson.
Yeah.
This is black dude, bro. Some of his characters are freaking hilarious on there, bro. He's a great D&D player.
Okay, so that makes talking about Vox Machina and Not Another D&D Podcast, man. That's kind of a good little segue to get into the reason why we here, Chatt Boxx Podcast, and we gonna hit y'all with this shit now. All right, so we gonna, as usual, we gotta take a break because I've been holding my pee for like 45 minutes now. I should have peed on our first break, but I was like really, digging this D&D talk and shit like that, so I just held it. But when we come back, we gonna do this epic movie review and shit like that. We gonna talk about D&D, but we're gonna talk about D&D more of like a comparison contrast. Like, did the movie really stack up to the game and the legacy of D&D? That's how we gonna do it. So, but I know you got some good D&D wisdom to drop on us about this movie and shit like that. So get ready. Yeah. Don't hold back. All right, give it to them both barrels. Right. Okay. Because that's what they wanted. So, Chatt Boxx Podcast, Chatt R Boxx Realm. When we come back, the epic movie review. All right? Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Welcome to the Chatt R Boxx Podcast and the epic movie review for Duengeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah.
I am your co-host for this episode because Buck Wild himself knows far more about D&D than I do. And I tip my hat to you, kind sir.
Thank you.
All right, so when we stepped off out this motherfucker, we were talking about I guess the reemergence or maybe the revitalization of D&D. More or less of what led to D&D actually being, like cool. And seems like from what Buck Wild is saying, D&D never was uncool. It just wasn't in the limelight like some of these other games and entities are. So that leads us to the release of Duengeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, which, my mans, I got to say, I watched the movie and I was definitely impressed. But I was impressed from more of a moviegoer standpoint, but not really a Dungeons and Dragons, because that's not me, and that's okay. But the movie itself was pretty dope. I think it does. I personally think it stacks up to the D&D legacy, but I am not the expert here, so we're gonna turn it over to the expert, and but we're gonna start with the scene. We'll start with the scene where they're going for. So this is after. Okay, so background information. The movie stars Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez and a few other people that don't really want to name, because then we're gonna go down a whole nother fucking rabbit hole, and it's not really that important. But everyone knows Chris Pine. He played He was in the re-release, the J.J. Abrams Star Wars movies from early 2000s or something like that. 2000s?
Negative.
Yeah, he was.
Trek.
Damn it.
Star Trek.
Damn it.
Don't get beat up.
My bad,
Beat you up, bro.
My bad. Listen, I'm sorry. I am going on record and apologizing to all the Trekkies and all the Star Wars fans. I fucked up, okay? My bad. And here I used to watch the fucking Next Generation. What a piece of shit I am. Damn, my bad, y'all. I fucked up. Okay. I heard it in your voice, man. You got real shit. Hey, bro, stop that. You talking blasphemy right now. Stop talking like that. I'm gonna fuck you up personally. All right, I get it. All right, so, but yeah, Chris Pine was in Star Trek, the Star Trek franchise with J.J. Abrams, or directed by J.J. Abrams. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so I got that right. Of course, everyone knows Michelle Rodriguez because she's been in every fucking Fast and Furious, with the exception of 3, which... If we start talking about Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift is my fucking favorite, but that's another podcast for another day, another epic movie review. We'll leave it at that. All right, so the story and the film is about Chris Pine's character, Edgin. His wife was killed, and he's looking to bring her back. But there's some shit going on. There's one character named Forge. And, he did some slick shit to the team and stuff like that. So where we gonna pick up in the movie, Buck, is they're actually going for that jewel, the treasure in that vault, not at the very end, but in the beginning when they got hit with that time spell and shit like that. I thought that was actually a pretty cool scene because it really kind of sets the tone for the movie. So we're going to play that real quick and see where we go with it. So here we go. All right, so right now they make it to the vault or the keep, and they're all running in, and they don't know what the fuck's about to happen. Everyone's just picking up jewels. There's this one character in there. Her name is Sophina, and she's like a low key red wizard, but she fronting like she's not, So it's a good movie. A lot of fucking slick shit going on in this scene right here. So let's go ahead and play it out real quick. See what it do. All right, so now Edgin, Chris Pine, he's found this tablet that can bring his wife back from the dead and shit like that. And we'll talk about that too. All right, so I got pause it. So, Chatt Boxx Podcast. The way the scene plays out, Chris Pine picks up this relic that he needs to bring his wife back. But he doesn't realize that this relic is attached to some sort of alarm system. And it's just something so simple as a spider web. You remember that scene, Buck?
Yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't even realize it's there. He picks it up, he walks off with it. The spider web is broken. The alarm goes off. The space fills up with guards and shit like that. Motherfuckers start busting guns, arrows, whatever, what have you. Magic get thrown around and shit like that. So with that being said, I gotta say, man, they didn't really do their research about this shit. They didn't really like Mission Impossible this motherfucker. I mean, a spider web. That's what medieval times got to offer. Come on, Chris Pine. What the fuck, man? Bro.
I mean, it's one of those. That's one of those things where, like I said, there's certain jobs for certain characters, and one of the characters they did not have.
They did not have. Oh, that brings up how they got what's her name, and that's why I guess that's why they had to bring her in. We'll talk about her in a little bit, but that shit kind of fucked me up because I'm like, you would have thought that there would have been more. There would have been more. Research done on this place where they had to go. Like they would have studied the security a little bit better. They would have studied, entry routes, exit routes,
Well, it was more of like I said, it's because when you're in that setting, that's not one of those options that you usually get.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, you can survey the area and whatever, but you're not gonna know what's inside until you actually go inside.
That's true.
That's usually how that D&D works. You're just like, all right, well, you're not gonna know until you go in.
Okay, so
but like I said, there's certain things. There are certain ways to figure out stuff like that because, like I said, you get certain class. You get your ranger, and your ranger can look for traps.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So there are certain characters that are designed for stuff like that.
Right.
But you're only limited to a certain amount of stuff with whatever your character you choose. So they didn't have a ranger in their party. So therefore they didn't know about the traps.
Damn. Well, that makes sense then. That makes sense. Which that actually is what led to them bringing on the shapeshifter character, which we'll talk about her in a minute. I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
But here we go. Let's go ahead and play this scene out. All right. All right. So now the trap has been set. There's a ring of fire forming. And then Sophina, she just starts shooting lightning bolts at guards and shit.
We don't hurt anyone.
And then Chris Pine says, we don't hurt anyone. And Sophina's like, nah, fuck that. We hurt everyone. So this is where she actually throws out the time spell, which the time spell is kind of cool because it just basically freezes your ass until either, and correct me if I'm wrong, Buck, because you're good for that. It either freezes you until the spell wears off or the spellcaster is not there to maintain the spell.
It's a little bit of both.
Okay. Because when she hit him with that time spell, everyone in her party was like, oh shit, this bitch just cast a time spell. So they start breaking for the door. And this is again where I talk about how they didn't do their surveillance. Say, okay, so where are the exits? So they're basically running out the same way they came in. And shit just goes from bad to worse. So here we go. It goes from bad to worse. And then we'll find out later on how much more worse it got. So here we go. All right, so there's Holga. She got caught in it.
Time stop!
And then
Sophina's too powerful!
So Simon, real quick, Simon is the wizard in Edgin's party. How the hell do you trip over a chalice and get your leg stuck in the time spell? So unbeknown to Edgin, so he throws the tablet to Forge, who's played by Hugh Grant. And he tells him, because Edgin has a daughter, he said, hey, yo, keep Kira, my daughter, safe. And Forge says, word, got you, son. And then shit goes from there. So here we go.
You have my word.
It's funny, he gave Chris Pine the black power fist, y'all.
The truth is, even if this council were to sentence me to another 2 years, or 20 for that matter, it would never be punishment enough for the worst crime I ever committed.